Hi everyone, ThylaBT, and I am going to show you how to breed dinosaurs on Ark. I'm going to start from literally taming the dinosaurs all the way to getting what your daily kind of thing will be. I have over 4,000 hours in Ark, and most of them were spent breeding, but the first 1,000 I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. So I'm going to try and pass on some of this knowledge to you. Let me know if you enjoy this. Obviously, I'm assuming some of the people watching this will already know a decent amount about breeding, and I will try and leave some links down below to the correct times that maybe the extent you're at. So for this example, I'm going to be using manners because they are mammals and they're slightly more complex than the egg-laying ones, but I also have giggers to give a quick explanation of the egg-laying animals for breeding. So the first thing you're going to want to do is figure out what you're going to tame. So we're going to go with manners, and that's what we want to be breeding. So with the manners, and with all tames, you're going to tame as many of them as you can. So I've just spawned in 10 of them. They're all 150 perfect tames, so they're 225, which is 1 point higher than what you guys probably, what you should have, because you can only get 224, but I just spawned them in. So the thing which is going to be most important to you is the stats. So I've just got this little spyglass. It's a mod, but you can if you're on the Genesis map, you can actually check what those the larger numbers are, so the stats you actually see in here. But what we are interested in are those points. So you see next to the health, it says 34-0. So the 0 is how many points of how many like tame after tame points you put in. So if I put in 1 point here in health, you'll see that it now says 34-1. So those points in health or stam or whatever don't actually matter for this. So don't worry if you've already started putting points in health in. You can use certain tools like Dododex and Ark Smart Breeding applet tool to help you find these, but you can. But I'll just be showing this with the spyglass so you can see it, and I'm not jumping between tabs too much. So you've tamed your 10 manners or whatever you're taming, and now you've got to choose which stats are really important to you. And so you're looking for those highest numbers. So let's go. We're going to want health, stamina, and melee on these manners. So I'll just save you the trouble of me having to walk around, and I can already tell you that the best manners that we have for those stats is this male manner, which, oh wait, no, not that one. Which one is it? It's 43. Don't tell me I accidentally killed it while I was making the video. Sorry, I previously made this video and all the audio got corrupted because, yay. Is it this one? Yes, 42-43. So this is the best one because it's got the highest health and stam of all of them. And then I think it's, where is it? Sorry. Yeah, this one has the highest melee. It also has the highest weight. Maybe you really want weight on your manners and you want to be breeding for mutations for them, but I don't usually do it, but this one conveniently has a pretty high one. So now you're going to put these two aside. So those were clones, so I could just show you each of the steps, and now you're here and you've named them. So you've named them, so I've named them 42 HP and 43 stam and 42 weight and 40 melee. So now we're going to try and combine these stats. So you do this by breeding them together. So you can open the radial menu by holding down E if you're on PC or whatever your use function is on consoles, going to behavior and then enable mating and making sure that you've got male and female. Now if you have, as I do here, two of the same gender, that's okay. Breed it with one of your other random females and the stats will eventually pass through. So now I'm going to explain how the stats pass through. So these stats on the male will have a chance to go down to any offspring. And so the highest one, so let's say that these were male and female and we were breeding the two of them together. This one has 47 health and this one has 34 health. So when you bred them together, the baby would have a 55% chance of having 47 points in health and 45% chance of 34 points in health, because that's how it's set up. So a way I can show you this is with the giggers. So I've bred the two giggers together and they give an egg. So you can check the stats on the egg just with the incubator tool on Genesis 2. You don't need any sort of mods on your server or anything, no super spyglass. You can just check it and it looks exactly like this. And so what you can see here, so our gigas, usually with gigas all you're looking for is melee, and so this one has 35 points and this one has 40 points in melee. So you can see here, this first egg got the 40 points in melee, but this second one only got the 35 points in melee. So there's always a chance you won't get the highest stat. So it'll take a bit of trial and error, but what you're going to want to do is get at least a male with all the desired stats. So we want a male with 47 points in melee, 48 points in stam, and the 45 points in, 47 health, 48 stam, and 45 melee. Right, I missed a step. Mutagen. Sorry. So the one that we tamed here is 225. It has 42 points in health. Now you can mutagen it. There's heaps of videos out there. I recommend you go watch it if you're interested in mutagening, but you have to do it at this stage because it only works on the on the wild ones, not the on the bred ones. So yeah, make sure it's got wild ancestors, and it gives 5 extra points in HP, stamina, melee, and weight. So I've mutagen these two, and you can tell because of the yellow dot here, or you can see it on its that little symbol there in the top left corner of it. So I've now mutagen them, and you can see they're level 245. So sorry for skipping over that point. So I have mutagen them, and so yeah, our desired stats are now 47, 48, and 45 in health, stamina, and melee respectively. So now you're going to go through and breed them, and this could take a couple of days depending on how long, on what your luck is and how many females you breed them with. But I've already done this, so we'll be moving to the next stage. So here we are. I have a base male, level 281, with the 47 health, the 48 stamina, and the 45 melee. So you want to make sure when you get your base that it's got 0 stats in both of the 0 in both these random mutation things. I'll explain mutations in a bit, but this is very important. If you get any mutations, just set them aside. I've set some aside over there. So what you're going to want to do, you have to make a little bit of a decision of how important is it to you that you get the recurring of how much breeding you're actually going to do. If you're on a server which wipes every 3 weeks, you're probably not going to need to watch this video because you'll just be breeding for the best stats as quickly as possible. But if you want a continued source, like your server wipes maybe every couple of months, or the one I play on wipes every single time a new map comes out, this is kind of the strategy that you're going to want to do. And I'll get to what you want to do if your server never wipes and you play on official, which is one of the more advanced steps. But anyway, you just still continue with this process. So we've got the male. Now you can decide one of 2 things. You can either get a female and lots of females with the exact same stats and the same level, and this makes it much easier for mammals because unlike egg layers, you don't have an incubator to see before you hatch them what stats they got. So to get lots of the females, you can put them in a cloning chamber if you have access to tech, and you don't want to breed them, like it takes too long on your server, and you can also do it for a lot cheaper if you tame a level 5 of that creature by going to one of the servers. So this one is just a level 5. You can see it's got really low stats, and this will be so much cheaper to clone. So I'll just show you how much cheaper it is to clone it. So this level 5, let's see, a clone, so 2,625 shards, and then however if we wanted to clone the other female, rather than breed it a whole heap of times, it's going to cost us, I think it's 14,000 and something. It's going to cost you, yeah, 17,805 shards, so quite a big difference. So just something to consider. But once you've done that, you will get yourself a kind of breeding location. So I've just set up these manners to float above the male. So this is a male down the bottom, and these are all the females up the top. And so you just need to find the range at which they can breed with without moving. And I've just set up this little spot down here for where he fits into, because this is where you're going to be putting all your mutated ones. This is actually a mutated one, but I'll explain that in a little bit. So now you have your base male and your whole bunch of females, so you can start breeding them. So I'm going to show you the steps if you didn't get any mutations before then, and I'll show you the steps if you did get mutations. So I'll just move this one out of the way. So ignore this one for the time being. I'm going to show you. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your best male with the most mutations, and let's say you didn't get any in the process of breeding all the females or cloning them, etc., etc. And you're going to breed him each day with all these females until you get a mutation. So you have gotten your first mutation. Congratulations, or you got it in the process of getting a base pair. Now, I have these two different ones with different mutations. This one on it, you can take a look at its stats, see how it's got the 47 points in melee, and all the females there have 45 points. This has one melee mutation, and you can see here by going to show ancestors, they're that 1 out of 20. And then similarly, this one has a one mutation, doesn't matter which side it's on, and this is a stem mutation, which is one of the mutations that we want. So only stack the mutations that you want. So don't worry about food or oxygen or weight or movement speed. It's all about the stats that you want. If it's a Giga, you only want melee. So at the very beginning, what you want to try and do is get your mutations combined. So a mutation gives 2 points to every single sorry, not to every single stat, to the stat it is mutating. So you see how this one, it went up by 2 points. This one also went up by 2 levels because of those 2 extra points. So what you want to do is try and get them to have the same number of mutations times 2. So 1 mutation times 2, so the number 2, over what your base females are. So this one is level 283, which is 2 points higher than the base F female. So now we have these two together at the start. You may have a third one, you might have another HP mutation, but you want to combine these two. So conveniently, this 2-mut one actually is the offspring of those two, and it got both of the mutations, as you can see on both sides. So it now has the HP mutation, and sorry, not the HP, the melee mutation and the stamina mutation. So this is what you want to end up with, is you want to end up with a male with the most mutations, and see how it is level 200 and... Oh, sorry. This one I kind of stuffed up the level because I wanted to show what the maximum level was with the minimum level you have to get it to stop it being Nogland, but that's okay, you'll have to forgive me for that. But you'll just have to trust me that this one was level 285 when it was bred. So now I'm going to talk to you a bit about some statistics. So why am I breeding so many manners together? And why did I make them the same stats? It's all because of that 55% number I told you about and the chance of mutation. So you're going to have to bear with me for this. So if you have 2 creatures which have the exact same stats, they will always get those exact stats unless they get a mutation. So that takes out the 55% variable. So if I don't mutate any oxygen, food, speed, or weight, then all of their offspring are always going to have those exact same stats, which is a great starting point. And then as long as they have that same starting point for the health, they're always health, stam, and melee. The worst that any of the offspring are going to have is 45 points melee, 48 points stam, and 47 points of health. And if they mutate any of those stats, hopefully it will go on to the higher one. So when this one breeds with all of these females, it'll have a 55% chance to give the offspring the higher stamp and a 55% chance to give a higher melee. So that is a 30% chance of when it breeds with one female that it will give a offspring at the same stats as this one. However, we want it to mutate again. So mutations happen 3.7% of the time if you have both of these stacks under 20. So I'll explain a bit about getting higher numbers soon, but as long as both of these are under 20, they both have a 1.7% chance to mutate, if you can follow that. So that 30% number, we then have to, just bear with me, we want to then times by 0.037%, sorry, 0.037 or 3.7% to figure out what are the chances of it getting a mutation. So that is only a 1.1% chance of getting a mutation with both, while still keeping the same good stats. But we only want a mutation in 3 of the stats. So we're then going to calculate that. So 3 divided by times by 3 divided by 7. So it's only a 0.04% chance that we're going to get a mutation that we want to keep. So this is where it comes into breeding as many of these manners as you can. So this is nowhere near as many as you should have. You should have heaps more than this, but I'm just showing this for educational purposes. So you could stack heaps more manners in that spot within the range of the male. So I'm going to do exactly that and see if we get any luck. So I've put my mana in my special spot. Just let me know if you want to see a video on how I made them floating. It's something really easy to do, but you can come up with your own way of stacking all the different manners. Oh, this one's slightly out of range. I might have accidentally punched it out of the way, but that's okay. So all of these guys are ready to be bred, and I'll just move these 2 out of the way. I'll speed this up so you don't have to watch. Okay, so while this is breeding, I will just give you a quick explanation of why it's really important that I've kept them all the same level. This means that when the babies pop out, I can walk up to them and check for the level. So remember how I said this one is level 285? That means we are looking for level 287 or 289. Now, because babies can get 2 mutations, 1 on each side, so that's what we're going to be looking for. I'll also give a quick explanation of colors if I see any, just for an example. Actually, I might make colors in a whole separate video because this is only focusing on the points. But every time you get a mutation, you also get 1 random color. But colors are a bit different. I am 100% focused on the stats. Any color is a nice added bonus. But yeah, chuck down in the comments if there's anything you'd like to see, anything that's unclear. I know that I am saying this in a very from a point of lots of experience, so I might have missed something, but yeah, just comment down below. So all these guys are going to get big very, very quickly because I have an accelerated growth rate on the server, to so that I can do this faster than what it would really be. But you should be able to walk around, so I'll just show you what you would do. So you would walk around each day, and you will see how they're those red little symbols. So 285, 285. 283, because remember they don't always get the mutations because it's only a 55% chance. So yeah, I'll just get out my spyglass and see if we have any new good mutations. So there is a color, they're always good to look for, but that one seems to have a mutation in a different stat, which we don't want to combine. So yep, we didn't actually get a level 287, so I guess we'll have to try again tomorrow, depending on what your server rates are for how often they can breed. But that is what you do on a day-to-day basis to help stack your mutations. So put down in the comments if you have any questions or anything like that. But this is what I do on a day-to-day basis. I breed my best male with all these 0-0 females. So when I say 0-0, I mean 0 mutations on both the matrilineal and patrilineal side, trying to get better mutations every single day. Now, what happens? Now, the mutations are where you can actually get really, really unstuck if you're not paying attention. So you may be wondering, or may not because you already know the answer, but you may be wondering, can I breed this one with 2 mutations on it? With this one that you had before with 1 mutation on it? And the answer is no, because it's all done based on these points. So there is you could not give the 2 extra points that this one has on stamina and the 2 extra points this one has on stamina together. It will never become 52 without a new mutation. So how it is calculated is if you've got 2 parents with certain stats, 55% for the highest stat, 45% for the lower stat, any increase in that is a new mutation. So what would happen, I will show you just quickly. So here we grab this, and I'll bring this one over. Oop, I don't want to click that one. Let's get it out of here. There we go. So I will show you. So let's just breed this. Even in a mating, and yeah. So I'll just breed these 2 together. Now, if you happen to get a female with the new highest mutations, that's where you need that base male that I was talking to you about, the 001, and you can breed it with him until you get a male with the female's mutations. So let's wait for this one to pop, and I'll then go through an explanation of why you don't want to combine already mutated creatures. So here we'll just wait for this one to pop out. There you go. And you can see here, so 283, not only did it not get the highest stats from the parent, because remember it only has a 55% chance, so this was the lower chance, but you'll see when you look into it that it will actually say that it doesn't just have 2 mutations, it actually has 3, because it uses the mutation count from both the parents. So this is what you don't want, because you see you're getting closer and closer to 20 without getting the level increase. So this is something really important to keep mind of, is don't breed non-mutations, let's call them, or masked mutations, back into your line, because that will make it harder and harder to breed. Now, there is one way to circumnavigate this, and that is where we get into negative mutations. So the way this works is how the computer tells it is when breeding, if the parent has less than 20 mutations on one side, then it can give. Sorry, if the parent has less than 20 mutations, and the other parent also has less than 20 mutations, you get that full 3.7% chance of getting a mutation. However, the important thing is that less than 20. Now, you may be thinking there's only 20 numbers up to 20 because you start from 0. However, that is not the case, because if you breed a whole bunch of times, the number will actually revert to a negative number based on how wildcard's system works. Now, I could show you this, let me know in another video if you'd like to see it, because it does actually take a lot of time, and I'd want a lot of people wanting to see it for that to happen, because I don't really have that kind of time to go into it now. But you can then have negative mutations on your male, which will then mean that you can constantly mutate, and that is what the people on Official do, and that's how they have their super duper ultimate gigas, which are basically untouchable. But that is a general explanation of mutations and kind of breeding in general, and what I do on a day-to-day basis is I just get my best male mutation and I breed it with a whole bunch of females. It seems to work well enough for me, but that's basically it. I am terrible at PvP, so I just try and outnumber everyone, because, like it or not, Ark is a numbers game, and if you've got the creature with the higher numbers, generally you will win. So there is one last thing that I'm just going to quickly cover, and that is zeroing out your creature. So if you go and tame a really low level creature, you see how that only has 2 points in melee and 1 point in health. You can actually get your creature to very low levels because the level cap is 450. If you'd like me to make a video on that, let me know, but I reckon if you're doing that, you already know how to do all of this, but it's something that you can do. I'm just going to sign off with one tiny last tip, and that is if you're on Genesis 1 and you want to move your mana into your special little spot, because you can't ride manas on Genesis 1. So what you're going to want to get is one of these little guys, a Noglin. Now the max level that a Noglin can be with Mutagen, so you can see I've mutagened it, and all of the levels pumped into it, is 332. This one was perfect tamed at level 250, so that's why it can go to level 333. But so it was a level 225, it should be level 224 if it was done properly, and mutagen and put all the levels in is 332. So make sure, if you can, that all of your manas in your base and all your other tames actually are level 333, so you can just pump in health and all that to make sure that they are over that level cap so a Noglin can't control them once you've moved them into place. So say I wanted to move this one into place, you can go options and you can just unclaim. And then you go engage brain hunt. And then there you go, you can now target it. Oh, sorry. I forgot the controls for these things. I think it's this one. There we go. Now you can move this around without a saddle or anything on it. So this does also work on Genesis 1. So that's just another tip. Anyway, that one sec, sorry. Oops. Oh yeah. Make sure that you have everything set to passive because otherwise this will happen with all your baby dinos if like a Velonosaur or something starts attacking them. Anyway, I hope you found this helpful. Please put in the comments how I can improve this video because I happily will. This is just a first attempt at it. Anyway, I will catch you guys next time and I hope you found this helpful.